Special meeting of the Nacogdoches Independent School District Board of Trustees. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present and that notice of this meeting has been legally posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Please join us in switching your cell phone to the silent mode. There's only one item on tonight's agenda, a budget workshop, and I will call on Mrs. Lisa Barbrick to begin.
Good evening, President Fitch, board members. So tonight you have a handout in front of you, and we're going to go over the budget as well as the work that went behind it and some statistics that I ran as a result of it. So the first page is just our agenda. Tonight should be short and sweet. And on page 3, I wanted to highlight our our 17-18 financial highlights. So we have a healthy fund balance. Our general fund balance equals 47% of the budget as of June 30th, 2017. And our projected ending fund balance is equal to 5 months of operating balance. The board policy requires that we have 3 months, so we are doing quite well there. We received a superior rating on our financial integrity rating system of Texas, and we had a clean audit from Belt, Harris, and Pejicek. So the next page is a graph of just our fund balance, our general fund balance, and our debt service balance in relation to our tax rate. Our general fund tax rate, M&O tax rate at $1.17 hasn't changed in years. So that is our flat line, but we see that our fund balance has continued to grow until the 17-18 year. We had a slight drop, and that is due to us, the $5 million construction that we have pulled out of fund balance. And then in debt service, we were growing in fund balance, and then at the same time as we reduced our tax rate, let me pass this down. We also had a drop in our fund balance because we paid off one of our bonds. The next page is historical data on our ADA, our WADA, and our enrollment. It's a 10-year chart. And really, we have, in the past 10 years, we have remained pretty stable. We have not had a huge increase or a huge decrease. But what I wanted to point out to you, what's that?
Question. The weighted average daily attendance, how is it weighted? Tell me how does
You
that?
have special populations of student. There's special ed, bilingual, Kate,
Okay.
that you, rather than, like if you got $1 for a regular student, you might get $1.50.
Okay.
So they'll call them like 1.25 students.
Right.
Gotcha.
And,
If funding
and
that
all
way.
of them are different.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So one thing that became apparent to me in this is if you look at our enrollment, so let's say at the 2018 enrollment, we dropped 1.05%. Not a big drop, but our ADA only dropped 0.85%, and our WADA dropped 0.73%. And what that tells me is that as far as our ADA, our attendance, we are doing better in our attendance. So our students are showing up more, and our special populations are growing compared to just our regular ed student.
Now, is our special population overall growing?
Yes.
Or is there one special population that's growing more?
Our bilingual are growing and our special ed are growing.
So, Ms. Barber, do we know of our deaf ed program? Do we have a special population coming in outside of the county?
We do, yes, we do. We run a co-op, we are the fiscal agents for a co-op. That is what Kayla Hughes is the director of, and we get special funding for that, and she charges the member districts a fee.
Ms. Barber, the special population, do we get it from different counties or like beyond our boundaries? Like from San Augustine or Center or that
They
area?
have their own co-op, don't they? I mean,
Well, it would depend, a student could come to us from
Right.
out of, but I don't have that answer.
In
I
other
don't
word-
know if we have any.
In other words, our transportation doesn't go bring them back here?
Not from outside, no.
Okay, very good.
All right, if we move on to page 6, we have our budget assumptions. We gave a 2% flat increase for all staff. The 1.17 maintenance and operation tax rate is remaining the same. The debt service tax rate is remaining the same at 0.1625. We are, in addition to not changing our tax rate, just the tax revenue is expected to remain the same. You could keep the same tax rate and still get an increase in revenue if the value in our property went up, but we're not expecting that. I've built the budget on a decrease of enrollment of 110 and a decrease in average daily attendance of 102 students.
Where'd you come up with those figures? Is it an average? or-
I have a spreadsheet that you put in historical data, and then it,
Projects.
right.
And if I may, and Madam President, that is, those last two bullets is a major issue with me. When you're losing enrollment, you're losing market share, those types of things, you're losing revenue. You don't necessarily lose staff yet, but you're losing revenue. You still must, because of the average class size restrictions, have to have staff. Keep your ratios at a certain level. If you lose a handful of kids spread out across, you don't cut your staff, but you do lose the revenue. You do feel that.
Absolutely.
And so we've got to
We need
find
to
a way
reverse
to.
that trend and increase enrollment.
Yes, ma'am. So we've got to find some
And I was
way.
gonna say that 102, that's for a daily basis, for what period of time? Is that for the whole school year, or is that,
That's what you're gonna work on.
Daily.
So
Daily.
where they want to be.
but does it include the whole school year, or does it change as we go, like, during the year?
Well, it's equivalent to 102 students.
Per day? Because that's how, this says
Right,
daily,
per-
daily attendance, is that daily? So, is it 102 students daily, or is that an average that's taken up throughout the school year? That, I guess that's what I'm not understanding.
I'm trying to figure out how to answer that. It's an average daily attendance equivalent to 102 students.
Right,
So yes,
right.
it's daily.
Okay,
Right,
okay,
right,
that's what
right,
I just wanted to make sure that's okay.
The breakdown of the 2% raise, the biggest portion of that is went to teachers at 490,000, paraprofessionals 89,000, our hourly manual trades of 93,000, and administration of 135,000. That came out to $808,000 for the whole year. The next page, I had printed out the I printed out this current year's compensation plan, and what I intended to do was print the new year, but now we have it side by side, so you can see how it went up. Got to thinking, I wonder what in our oldest records we have, that I could get to quickly was from 2000, 2001, and I wanted to see what a starting salary was then. And it was $25,500.
Wow.
So we, in 18 years, have increased 56.86% in our beginning rate.
How much?
56.86% in our beginning salary.
And Ms. Barber, that's a really good recruiting tool. far as having the highest salary, very competitive salary to recruit teachers in. So I think that's, if we can just continue to maintain that, that gives an opportunity to recruit the quality staff that we need.
All right. So now we'll begin looking at numbers. So page 8 are our revenues. And overall, we are expecting a decline in our revenues of 1.3 million. That is primarily due to the drop in our ADA that we're projecting. But we also have a drop in, which we always do every year, a drop in some of our local income, such as our donations. We don't budget our donations till we receive them, because you never know what you're going to get. And then we had a $124,000 grant this year that went, it really was in and out, but we still have to record it. It's a professional development. The grant paid for professional development. So that is our local income. Our state income, that is where our ADA is in our state income, where we had a drop. And if you look at our per capita apportionment and our foundation entitlements, those two really go hand in hand. That's what those two numbers together are driven by our ADA or our WADA, and we're dropping by about $400,000. Prior year foundation entitlements, that is where they just settle up on corrections with ADA that you send, and so you never know really what you're going to get, and so we don't budget anything in the current, the coming year, because we don't know if we're even gonna get anything. So that's why that's the huge drop that adds up to $906,000. And then we have some federal funds. The biggest drop there is in our SHARs. Every year, we can count on around $400,000 coming in, but they always have what they call a settle up, and it can range from, I've seen it range from $800,000 to $300,000. So I don't budget that till I know what it's going to be.
So that pays for the nurses at all the schools? The SHARs?
Well, we don't apply it to anything in
reimbursement.
particular.
But it's for health?
Well, it comes to us as a result of us providing health-type services.
Okay. So it's undesignated funds?
Yes.
But, okay.
Yes, it's
Because we're
basically a
paying
reimbursement.
the nurses out of our budget, then they're giving us more money.
Well, it's based on you performing certain services. So, I mean, it could be an aide changing a diaper on a special ed student that we're getting reimbursed for. So it's not just nurses, it could be a counselor providing services, it's many types of services.
Social workers are included in that, right?
Yes, they are.
Still, it is the healthcare workers that are full-time and there every day, that's a positive thing for us to have that. In the same
Oh,
way
yes.
for having aides for special ed. In other
Yes.
words, we can't do more to get more money, can we?
Well, yes, we can. So in the past, we weren't very careful in where we were paying those type of positions from. If you pay them from federal funds, then we can't claim SHAR's reimbursement for them. So we need to make sure that we don't pay them out of federal funds.
Okay.
And that we are making an effort to, where in the past we did pay some and we're pulling them out and paying them out of general fund.
Okay.
And then we need to just also be diligent in them reporting the services they provide. They have to take time out of their day and go into the computer system and put in that they, did their things. And we just have to make sure they do that. So on page 9 are our expenses by function. We have a decrease in instruction of 508,000. That is due to some staffing, mostly from a decrease in some aides that we have been given to some campuses. For instance, this year Carpenter had 23 aides. We've dropped that down to 13. There comes a point where you can have too many. Plus, we're in a budget crunch and we need to cut in some areas.
So when you say that, I mean, I know pre-K, I know a lot of those aides were in the pre-K.
Those were not cut.
Okay.
So out of that 508,000, a lot of those positions, is that what was being paid with that money?
Yes, but that's not just,
No, not just, but. it
not
was
just
included.
them, but that would be a big part of it.
It's concerning to see such a big cut in instruction.
Yeah.
But that's where most of our expenses are, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing an equivalent increase, so I get, you know, most of these are decreases, but
Yeah, if you look at a revenue decrease of $1.3 million, but an expenditure cut of $4 million, so we're cutting a lot.
I was wondering about, kind of along Pam's, line is with the 2% raise, teachers got almost 500,000, but then we cut 500,000, so I know that can't all be aides, there has to be some.
No, it's not all
positions
aides.
that-
Every department received
Okay.
cuts, every department. So, I mean, if I were to show you line items of each department or salary or category, you would pretty much see a decrease everywhere.
So it's across the board.
Yes.
Are you aware of the grant that Carpenter has? Can they direct some of that money to hire aides from that grant?
They cannot.
They cannot?
No.
Okay, it's restricted.
Yes, it
Very
is.
restrictive, yeah.
Yes, and they do have some aides in it, but we can't hire any more.
Okay, we're maxed out using
Yes.
what we can get from that fund.
Yes. The other big decrease is in transportation, and that's a 1.7% decrease. And you just like say,
Thank you for
wow,
that.
hey, but you know, a big part of it though is we bought 15 buses this year, so that's not in the budget anymore. It's still a decrease of about 300,000 if we took those buses out of play there. We are making an